recently, Oscar De La Hoya, before his biggest fight of his career, he decided to go back to rehab because he needed help.
Of his promotional career.
Of his promotional career, yeah. And, I mean, it's a pretty...
Once again, not uncommon, though, that, people will end up, crashing out and burning right before a big event.
That's usually the way it is.
Right, because they're building up and they're trying to maintain their addiction and they're trying to keep it all together, and then they just give up right before. It's like, or they die, and I'm glad that he got himself into treatment, even though he's probably taking a lot of heat for it, missing this big event yesterday night.
So some people are afforded the luxury of being able to say, I could take time off from work, because realistically, Oscar De La Hoya has got plenty of money to say, I want to take off time from work. But a lot of times we hear from people, I can't take off from work. I'm going to lose my job if I come to rehab. I'm going to lose my... And partially that's true, but you won't have that job if you continue to use the way you're using.
Technically, people aren't allowed to lose their job if they go to rehab. In most states, there's laws that prevent people from being terminated for seeking medical help. But the reality is that people can be demoted or their jobs can shift or all sorts of things can happen. So, there can be consequences. But what I found in general is that, at least with most people, if you talk to the employer as the person's in rehab and start working with them right from the beginning, that often the employer is relieved because they've known there's been a problem. And you're actually helping them with that problem. And a lot of the larger employers that we work with in their HR departments, we actually work with the HR people and we tell them, you got 70, 80 employees, 8 or 9 of them probably have a problem. Why don't you let us help, reduce, the number of sick days, reduce the cost, and let us help you actually deal with the problem, because even most HR companies aren't used to dealing with problems with addiction. And so working with that personnel, and then we actually become problem solvers for them instead of just, someone they just send somebody to.
And that's something we've spoken about, is letting us be your advocate.